Alright guys, another scrap video for you. This was the first take I did of the 3 childhood games video. Reasons why it was scrap was mainly because I sounded too much like I had the flu, and generally I just sounded a bit depressed in it because I was ill at the time. Which, this has got a few differences. If you haven't watched that video, click the annotation on screen of course. The main ones being that I talk about 3 different games as well as the first one I ever played, which hope you enjoy. And once you're done here, click the link on screen or in the annotation below to be taken to the proper video that's on the main channel. See ya! So this week I've been ill, and this means that I've been reveling in the wonderful security blanket of nostalgia to try and get better. Of course I've been doing other bits of work, but that's mainly what I've been doing, installing and playing games that I used to as a kid. So, if you want to take a big nostalgia trip with me, then watch the rest of the video. When we were a kid, we all had those games that we all used to play, and they were always kind of what we remembered, I guess, when we played them as adults. I mean, particularly when I was a kid, my dad he still is, a huge computer nerd, so we had a computer to play on, which was running Windows 3.1, yeah, at the time, or I think before that, according to him, it was some version of macOS. And apparently the first video game I ever played was something called Peter's Magical Adventure, which I don't have any footage for, so I'm just going to put an image up for that. If you want to watch footage, I've linked a video in the description, but I don't want to nick someone else's content. I couldn't find my copy of it, but essentially what it is it's like a point-and-click adventure game of this kid just going to school or having a bath at home, and just imagining things were happening around his room or his house at night, and you would click on like pictures to go into different situations like underwater, and just click around his room and watch little animations happen, bit of an edutainment type thing. And after that there were things like Maths Rabbit or Reader Rabbit, which were just like maths and reading puzzles. I guess like the first proper video game I ever played, I think it was a game at my friend's house called Speedy Egbert, which I've actually ran this and installed it recently, and I'm going to be honest, it's not a very good game compared to what I've been playing now. I mean, at the time it was amazing, and it's quite quirky and cute. Because the idea was to get to the end of the level after collecting so many items of treasure while avoiding explosives or lava pits. It was just a basic platformer. Except there were things like a jetpack or a skateboard or like this little truck that had a snowplow on the front, so you could just drive through bombs without them harming you at all. The animations in it are quite cute, and it's actually quite well thought out. If you stand too close to the edge, then you'll do a little falling animation. If you stand next to a bomb, then he'll go at it and like stick his tongue out. And it's not a bad game. It's just not brilliant, but I do remember playing that every time I went round to a friend's house for years, and I only really found out when I bought it myself for about £1 or something. It had a level editor, which I kind of used a bit with my sister, and we made a few basic levels, but they were never very good. It's quite weird, and I haven't really played it since. I mean, other games I used to play around that age was when I went to my granddad's house and he had a computer running Windows 95. He just had this game called Greg Norman's Golfing Challenge, which was this... I've actually still got it here, as well as I have my granddad's computer now. It's not here anymore, unfortunately, but yeah, he's Greg Norman's Golfing Challenge. It was like this weird 2D mixed with 3D like golf game. Though I never understood how to play. I always would like get my golf balls in the water or in like the woods that were around the map. It's just amazing that as a kid I used to find these fun, but he'd play that for hours and hours and hours because he was really into golf with his best mate. Which, as well as that, around the time I used to play like we had a game, and I've still got this again. It's called Chaos and Kicking, which is a Kinder Surprise game. For those who've never had Kinder Surprise, it's these weird chocolate eggs, where on the inside there's like a little plastic container with a toy that you can assemble. I'm pretty sure most of you will have had these, but just in case, yeah. You can still get them, but the toys are a bit more sort of rubbish now. Like back then there were actual toys that had a mechanical thing to them or were actually complicated to put together. And the latest one I had was literally a minion you inserted into a pile of dirt, that's it. But this game was just like 40 levels of collecting little eggs using these machines that would toddle around this kind of like maze-like isometric map. It was just like essentially these like little maze platformy puzzle things where you had to collect eggs and avoid these evil Kinder Egg toys. It was fun at the time. Like playing it now, I think I can get through 3 levels before it crashes because modern systems. I should really try running it through DOSBox just in case. And yeah, besides that, the sort of the last one I'm going to talk about, or the last two I'm going to talk about, because I had tons of these little games as a kid. Which one was Rayman, which most of you have probably seen the latest ones, but the original one was great, amazing. It was like this really nice platformer, just about punching things and saving these little Lectoons from this dark magician that was going to take over the world, which I had that for both PC and Game Boy. And the furthest I ever got was really close. In fact, I completed all the levels on the Game Boy in as much as I got through them. Then turns out you had to get every single Electoon hidden throughout the levels, and I just kind of gave up after that. On the PC, we barely made any progress because it was a lot harder and they had way more enemies and stuff going on the PC version. It was just a really cool game. I mean, I've got it now for Game Boy, Vita. You could play PS1 games on your PS Vita and on the PS... Yeah, on the PlayStation. I've also got the PC version working again with Dropbox. Not Dropbox, DOSBox. Maybe playing that again. That's like my favourite game from a kid was something called Claw, which, oddly enough, I got that from a demo disc, which had things like Virtua Fighter 2 and just like a little level from Claw. It was just this pirate cat that got captured by the Spanish dogs, which was just the Spanish Armada, but pirates were cats and the dogs were the Spanish. And the idea was, to spoil the story a little bit, was you had to escape from prison and collect all the gems for this like 9 lives amulet thing. It was great. Like, I only got the full game because I used to play the demo again and again and again as a kid. I love that thing. Like, I only got the game because my granddad had a pen pal in America who he asked to buy the full game and mail it to us because I don't think you could actually get it in the UK. Which I still have that. It's abandonware, so you can download and play that now just for free. There's like there's Claw fan sites that host the whole thing, as well as the latest patch version to run on Windows 7. I was trying to record that was the right bugger because it kind of messes up with the sound devices and won't go through my surround sound system. It was amazing though. It's still good. Like the bosses, like I can ace through it now quite quickly, but it's not exactly easy. But like the bosses as a kid, I remember spending hours and hours and hours trying to get through the second level or just past that second boss because as a child I had absolute rubbish reaction timing and just skill at video games. Which I sat down just to record a little bit of footage of the first 5 levels, and I wound up getting through to the most of the 6th one and playing it for a good 2 hours and kind of forgot to eat. So yeah, it's been a nice week, even if I am ill. Which this was a nice nostalgia trip of all the games I used to play as a kid before I turned into a mini fridge.